We're going live there. And mirroring is off. And looky, here we are. We're checking our connection is good. We have two people in the Young King first in the room. Amanda, Charlie, we got people popping in. It's a morning thing. Happy Monday, everybody. We are live here on TikTok. We are live here on YouTube. We're on Facebook. We're on what's that other thing? Twitch. Yeah, we're on Twitch. We're everywhere. We've got the behind the scenes business, and let's see here. We got the behind the scenes business. We got the regular TikTok business, and we are excited to be here. Let me just see mobile dashboard. Let's see what's going on with my mobile dashboard. Listen, this is Monday, and we're talking traffic. We're talking police. We're talking all those things that we talk about every day, and we're just doing it. The summer's winding down. We're still doing it. It's not going to change. We're going to keep on doing it. Okay. With those things open, we can do that introduction thing that I do. My name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service, and I go live on TikTok. I do it every day, Monday to Friday, and we talk about your questions. We answer the ones you ask. That's how we do it. Hopefully our audio is good. I haven't done a check, but I know we're good. Everybody hear me okay? We Gucci. We got a Gucci from Q. We've got Amanda and Q both joining me on the other screen in a split screen over on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitch. And yeah, we're doing all sorts of stuff. We hit 160,000 followers on this channel. 160. We were at 150 Friday. I think it was 150 Friday, and then boom, 160, very, very close to being 161. Very exciting stuff for us. So thank you to everyone who was part of joining us and following us and being, part of the fam. So with that, let me jump into the Q&A. Well, actually, here's a Q&A. We start out with the Be Gucci. And Ashton Stein says, good morning and happy Mondays. Good morning. Neon, good morning, and a blessed Monday morning to you at that. Neon and Ashton are both moderators for our channel. Let's see here. They love Faisal? Yeah, we're going to get yours is going to be the first question of the morning. Let's see here. I just wanted to see in the chat. Now, generally, I don't look at the chat, but I am going to look at the chat very briefly and see what's going on. Now, just so you know, moderators are volunteers. They are not members of the Toronto Police Service, save and except for Amanda, who's an auxiliary police constable. She is still a volunteer, but an official member of the service, whereas other moderators are simply community moderators from TikTok who have chosen to, volunteer and join us with their help and caring. And what they do is they help keep it classy in the chat room. They also answer common questions in the chat room so I can focus on the stuff that's in the Q&A. And I really appreciate it. Happy Handspell says, hello, good morning, Mr. Officer. Good morning to you, too. We have, who do we have here? Off on holidays, glad, Jenny. I like that. It's good. It's a very creative name. I like that. Okay. Cool. Let's see. Oh, we got a bunch of stuff in now. And I said we were going to start with They Love Faisal, and that is going to be question number one of the day. Let's go into it. So, can you get a ticket for going 10 kilometers over the limit? Yes, you can. You can get it whether it's a 100 kilometer an hour speed limit or a 10 kilometer, like whatever the speed limit is. If you're exceeding it by any amount of speed, you can, in fact, get a ticket for it. Now, very often you don't see people who are giving you, or officers, I should say, giving tickets out for 10 over on the highway. That's because there's so many people doing 20 over that we prioritize. That being said, you could be ticketed for 10 over. There's no acceptable buffer zone or reasonable speeding amount. Anything over is eligibility for a ticket. Do you know the law on blow-off valves for turbos? So if those are the ones where the valves are allowing the gases from the engine to expel directly into the air, yeah, those are illegal. Those are going to cause you a Environmental Protection Act ticket, and you could be considered off the road, and that's no bueno. Can you get a ticket for going too slow? Yes, you can. Unnecessary slow driving is actually an offense under the Highway Traffic Act. If you are going slow, you're obstructing, or what is the word I'm looking for? Can't think of the word right now. Anyway, it's essentially if you're slowing everybody down and you have no good reason, you're preventing the flow of traffic.
Impeding?
Impeding, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you, Q. And good morning, Q, and good morning, Amanda. They, again, are on our YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch account. You can see them, or at least you can see Amanda. Q is currently an icon, but she's there, and you can hear both of them when they voice up, when they unmute, when they speak, because they will often bring up questions that are brought up from the chat. If there's things that are coming up, if there's issues or anything I need to be made aware of, they make me aware of it. It's amazing. It's amazing. Thank you both for being here.
Speaking of that, we have a question in chat about pink slips for insurance in the phone.
So, Ontario recently, in the last year or so, did actually make it. They changed the laws, and the laws now state that you can bring or provide officers with an electronic copy for proof of insurance. It's the only thing that you can provide proof of during a traffic stop electronically. So your driver's license is still the only thing you can provide when you are driving a vehicle. For your driver's license, it has to be the actual card. For your motor vehicle permit, the ownership document, it can be the original or a true copy, which means both sides, front and back, of a valid copy. People say, well, they don't expire. Yeah, they do. When you validate, when you get a new sticker for your license plate, you also get a sticker for your ownership. And if it's not there, that can be an expired or invalid document. So it's true. So hopefully that covers the Amanda brought question. LED above the driver and passenger feet legal. This is the footwell lighting. Yeah, it is. You can have, whether it be LED or incandescent, it doesn't matter. You are allowed to have lighting inside your vehicle. It's not against the law. It shouldn't be disruptive. It shouldn't cause your eyes to dilate, because driving when you can't see is difficult, and you don't want to be the cause of your own collision. But just glowing feet, you're allowed to have glowing feet. I have my G2 today. Any tips? You got this. You've been driving for 8 months to a year, depending on what stage you're at, maybe more. And if you've been driving and you feel confident, then you're going to be just fine. Just if you want, review your driver's handbook. If you don't have a copy handy, you can check the PDF or the online version, and be confident. Take it slow. You got this. No other tips that I can really provide, because there's no handy dandy easy way through it. It's just simply doing it, and doing it safely. Can you drive on the highway with a G2 license? Yes. Once you have a G2 license, you're effectively a fully licensed driver. Although you are still probationary, there's still some conditions, but you can drive on any highway. And any highway being any road in Ontario. Or for that matter, you can go outside of the province. And good morning again. As 192 people in the room, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada, and I go live on TikTok a lot. I also post stuff on TikTok a lot, because this is the official account for Traffic Services Toronto Police. And what is Traffic Services? We are the Traffic Services is the citywide traffic unit for the city or for the city of Toronto. We are the Toronto Police that police the city of Toronto, and it's what we do. Anything that moves, we investigate it. Peachaholic or Peaceaholic. Peaceholic? Did I read that right? It was a flash. Thank you very much for the rose. Much appreciated. That goes into the pile for the Ontario Special Olympics Fund. We are in the process of getting Special Olympics added as an official charity on TikTok. Until they are, we got money sitting in an account for them, and that money will go directly to them. So thank you very much. Not necessary. It doesn't go to us, and we do get paid to be here. We're on duty, or at least I am on duty. I guess, Amanda, you're on duty too, because you're virtually on duty. Young King with a gift as well. Thank you. We'll add that to the pile. I need a sound effects board for money coming in. Some cha-ching.
Have a question in chat about segways, and I don't think we've had that before.
This is a first-time segue question. Go ahead.
Just asking where they can be ridden and if they're allowed on sidewalks and things like that.
Private property only. Segways are not permitted on city streets, sidewalks, or parks. None of the one-wheels are allowed. None of the electric skateboards are allowed. None of the e-kick scooters are also allowed. And no problem, Q. Q's got a technical difficulty. Will be joining us back again shortly. And for the time being, it's just Amanda and I. So we'll do that. And so they're not permitted anywhere. Private property is the only place. There were some special pilots 10 years ago that were in play, maybe 8 years ago, that allowed them in certain private areas, like the distillery district had a tour in that area with segways, but they weren't allowed outside of that area. So unfortunately, they are not permitted. Now, e-kick scooters have a pilot in the province of Ontario, and those e-kick scooters are permitted in other areas, just not the city of Toronto. So it depends on whether you're asking for, e-kick scooters or in general. I know you asked about segways, but if we're discussing segways and all that, that's everywhere. And then for e-kick scooters specifically, there's a pilot project in Ontario, and they are allowed in certain places, just not Toronto. Okay. Excuse me. What's the law on rock lights in the wheel wells? Rock lights, I'm assuming, is a brand name, but if you mean LED that makes things glow, if it seemed to be projecting light, it could be an issue. You can't have light, or whether it be flashing or solid, in forward-facing or rear-facing. Forward, you can't have anything other than yellow or white. To the back, you can't have anything other than red or amber. And then when you get to the sides, it gets a little more complicated because it gets confusing for motorists. So you might find yourself violating a law that isn't specific to wheel lights, but it depends on the interpretations of the officer. Just to let everybody know, we are part of a community. That's the Discord community. We have a Discord server. If you'd like to join us on said server, you can, because right there on screen is the invitation, that link that will get you in. So I'll give you that my obligatory pose. And that's the pose. If you want to take a screen grab, you can join us and join in the conversation. We've got over 200 people in there. We discuss things. Very often, people in the community already have the answers. So if you ask something, somebody in the community, including our community moderators, will likely pipe up and let you know what's going on. Okay. Can you specify who can drive along with new drivers? So if you are a G1 driver, specifically a G1 driver, you must be supervised by a qualified G. Qualified G means that they are a G-class driver with a minimum of 4 years experience. How long and how do you get said experience? Well, if you have your G and you've been driving for a total of 4 years, when you combine your time as a G2 and a G, then you would qualify. So 2 years as a G2, 2 years as a G, you would be capable and legally able to supervise a G1 driver. And that's how it works. That's all it is. Oh, I think we got Q back. Q's computer problems I can't speak today. Problems have been resolved. Possibly, maybe. Okay. Is it wrong to change the beep noise on a Tesla? What beep noise are we referring to? Oh.
The horns you can set to have different sounds come out.
So a horn or a warning device has to be a horn or a warning device. If you press the horn and it goes and plays your favorite song, it will be misunderstood as something other than a horn and may not be safe. So I would say interfering with the horn would be a problem. That being said, if you wanted it to sound like a V8 muscle car for effects, because I've seen some cars doing that, that may be not an issue as long as it's not so loud that it's being unnecessarily noisy. Q, you got a strobe disco effect going on in your camera. Q's camera is you can't see it even if you're on the YouTube. But by the way, let me put on the chat there. Good morning, Big Jeff Fresh, and who else is here? There we go. Okay, we got. Oh no, I didn't put there's the overlay. Okay, so now the overlay is active. If you're in YouTube and you're chatting, we'll all see it. Okay. So yeah, I wouldn't mess with the Tesla so much, even if you can. Not a good idea. Your horn should sound like a horn, otherwise people will not know what it is. Asked 30 times, can I drive with my cat? I'm not aware of any of the 29 times you asked prior to this time. However, this time, I can advise you that, yes, your cat can travel with you. Your cat should be harnessed, and your cat should not be left in a hot vehicle alone. Even better, you might want to consider crating your cat if you don't have a proper crash-rated harness for your cat. But kudos to you for liking your cat. Why do you think e-scooters are banned in Toronto? Well, based on the study that was discussed, it's that there was an incredibly high rate of emergency room visits in the cities that adopted e-scooter use. Beyond that, it's based on what I read. Beyond that, I don't know. It might be a litter issue because in the United States, in the cities that have rental companies, the streets are littered with them. That could be an issue too. They're here and they're ticketable. If you're here using them, you can receive a ticket for their use in the city of Toronto. Hey, 615 people in the room. Good morning. Good morning. If you don't know who I am, my name is Sean. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada, and I go live Monday to Friday from roughly 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We do an hour worth of answering your police and traffic questions. So let's go. Let's get back into it. Not a question. Love your glasses. Thank you very much. I love them too. They're Hugo Boss, and they fit me in just the right way. I like the way they fit. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Is it legal to drive 120 kilometers an hour on the 401 in the left lane? You said line, but you meant lane. I got it. No, it's not illegal to exceed the speed limit. The posted limit in the 401 is very specific to 100 kilometers an hour. So any speed above 100 could result in a ticket. I know that the average person is probably doing 120 on the 401, and that doesn't mean you won't get a ticket. It means that you may be unlucky and somebody else may get away with it while you may not. So I would dissuade you from speeding. It's not safe. There's a reason the speed limit is what it is, and there's no plan on raising the speed limit in case anybody else wants to know that, because there is a speed or a highway with a speed limit of 110. I believe that's the QEW, and everyone wants to know if everybody's going to be going to this new speed, and we're not aware of any plan or change at the moment, but there is no permissible window of speed above the posted speed limit. So be careful out there. You don't want tickets. You don't want to have your insurance go up for no reason. Okay. Have you heard of me? Okay. COVID Rob wants to know if I've heard of him. I have not heard of you, COVID Rob. Need police notes for an accident that happened in December of 2020. If you go to the Toronto Police website, www.torontopolice.on.ca, you can go to records and you can look up how you can acquire said reports, and the report would include any notes. Okay, Mamba Forever 8 says, what is the legal tint? It's a great question. We never hear this question. The legal tint deal is this. If you are driving a motor vehicle that's registered to Ontario, you need to conform to the following. You cannot have any tint on your windshield. There's a little caveat there I'll get back to in a second. No tint on your windshield. The windows directly left and right of the driver can have no more than 30% light blockage, means 70% luminescence, or 70% of the light has to get through. The windows behind the driver's seats, those can be as dark as you want. You can paint them solid if you really wanted to. And the deal is that you have to have at least one mirror that's functional to the back. So if you were to have opaque windows because they were so dark you couldn't see through them, that's fine in the back, as long as you had at least one functioning mirror to the rear, showing you a clear view of the back. Now, going back to that caveat about the front windshield, if your vehicle was manufactured 2016 or older, you can have a 3-inch brow of tint on the top to a maximum of the PS1 line or the or 3 inches, whatever happens first. Now, if you have a 2017 or newer, you cannot have that brow. So things to know. I saw Q trying to hit that button and tell me something, but your camera's just flashing. I couldn't tell what you were doing.
I went behind the scenes so that I could show you the brow thing without having the strobe on YouTube.
Okay,
Did you
yes.
see it?
I saw you blinking in the background there, absolutely.
But did you see the brow thing?
No.
You didn't see me do the brow thing?
I did see.
Wow.
Oh, I saw you doing the waving your arms and the phone and the thing. And yeah, I told you saw you. I told you it was not wasted. I totally saw it. Okay, Auntie Panda wants to know: can I touch a mounted phone to control my music? So you can, if your phone is mounted and it's a momentary press to either answer a call or momentarily touch it for a second. The courts have generally said that's okay. If you are making contact and you are actively scrolling, you can't do that. That would be use, and that would be an offense under the Highway Traffic Act. And that offense comes with a $615 fine. It comes with a 3-day suspension, a 3 demerit points in the first time. So it's going to be a bad day at the office for you if you're doing that. So let's go and keep going. Let's see here. I'm the guy who did the Bad Boys song to your officer. I want to find out what you're talking about, COVID, Rob, but I don't know at the moment. So here, I'll check out your account after our live is done. Can I ride my dirt bike on the road to the trail? No, you can't. Dirt bikes in particular are off-road vehicles only. There's no permission to use them on the road at all. If your bike is dual sport, or if it's dual use where it's also a plated street legal vehicle, then that's different. But if it's a pure dirt bike that isn't rated for the road, you can't use it at all on the road. Now, ATVs are different. Side-by-sides and ATVs do have some situations where they are permitted on the road. Dirt bikes are not one of them. Okay. What about bike on the sidewalk? If you are 14 years or older, you cannot ride a bicycle on the sidewalk at all in the city of Toronto. Each municipality is going to have a different set of rules, but in Toronto, you cannot. If you are 13 and younger, however, you can. Okay. Can you turn right? Can you turn on red light if there's no pedestrian? Right turns on reds are legal in the province of Ontario. You can make a right on a red as long as it's safe to do so, which means no pedestrians, no vehicles, no obstructions, no vehicles coming, unless there's a signage that says otherwise, then you would be permitted to. Who else thinks Officer Shapiro is handsome? Well, my wife certainly thinks I am. That's probably why she married me. My kids say I'm okay looking, but thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay. Is it okay to speed up to merge onto, what does it say? The road onto another road. So if you're speeding up on a on-ramp, that's exactly what they're there for. Speeding up to get onto or from a red light could be a negative, could result in some negative attention. It could even be considered racing or stunt, depending on the perception of the officer. Let's see here.
Can we tap the screen?
Can we tap the screen?
Send some likes out.
Oh, well, yeah, I can ask that. So Q is asking for you to double tap the screen, to hit that like. The more likes that come in, the more attention our page gets on TikTok. It helps us get more viewers, show up on a higher rating, and we appreciate the love. It does help the page. We're learning all sorts of stuff. We just hit 160,000. Actually, we might be above 160,000 at this point. But,
Canadians, thanks for the gift.
Oh, Canadians, thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you to everybody. Thanks to everyone who's subscribed or followed us on TikTok here. Thanks to everyone who's been subscribing to our YouTube as well. We're also simulcasting onto our YouTube. It's awesomeness. It really is.
Where's the gift going?
Oh, thank you for asking. Anything that comes in during our live goes to Special Olympics Ontario. We changed channels. So we were collecting money and directing it towards a children's hospital. But when we lost one of our colleagues, Detective Jeff Northrup, on July 2nd this year, his daughter is a Special Olympian, and we wanted to really do something nice for him in his memory and support Special Olympics Ontario. It's a fantastic organization. Okay. So again, for everybody in the room who doesn't know who I am, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service, and I answer your traffic and police questions here on TikTok Monday to Friday, and sometimes on the weekend, and sometimes on my days off, and sometimes, I might have a TikTok problem. Equally, I may just want to make sure I don't leave you guys stranded without the ability to get your questions answered. That's really the deal. What is my favorite part about being a cop? Helping people, without question. That's what I did. I like helping people. It's either selfish or selfless. I don't know. I feel good when I help somebody, so the more I do it, the better I feel. And it's a cycle. It's a cycle. Thank you to Sugar. Who's Sugar? I caught only half the name, but thank you very much for the gift for Special Olympics. I also happen to really like being a motor officer, which is
burger.
Who's he? What's a what?
Sugar burger.
Sugar burger. Burger?
Burger, not
burger.
booger.
Not booger. Okay. I didn't understand what you said. Okay. I really liked being a motor officer. I used to ride the Harleys for a living. I mean, you can't get better than that. But I had a crash, and then I ended up doing social media stuff. And I you know what? It's the best place I could be that isn't a Harley. But I missed a Harley. Okay. How do you see your demerit points? You can totally see your demerit points by going in and asking for an abstract. You can talk to the ministry to get some information. Toddy Tahati, thank you very much for the gifts to Special Olympics Ontario. Much appreciated. That would be the one way to do it. Now, when we pull you over, we can see how many demerit points are active on your license as well. Let's see here. Can cops give you parking tickets on private property? If there is a bylaw sign that is posted, and then you could get a ticket on private property. It depends. There's metro licensing. There's agents who ticket on behalf of the police service that can also ticket, but police officers can write parking tickets. We don't generally do it because there's a parking enforcement unit that does exactly that. That's what they're there for. We tend to stick with other things. Okay.
Mods are drowning. Can you please remind chat not to spam?
Yes. So just to let you know, if you don't already know, is we have a community of moderators who are here helping me. They're volunteers. They're here to keep it classy. If you are asking the same question, if you are being rude, if you're being, attacking anybody in any way, the mods will mute you, just so you know. It's trying to keep it classy so people can get their questions answered and their comments heard. So please don't repetitively comment. Please don't, and please be kind. They are volunteers. They don't need the abuse. And just to let everyone know, we're also simultaneously casting on YouTube, on Twitch, and on my Facebook. Is there anything else to add on the specific moderator drowning situation that's currently underway?
Someone was just asking about Alberta laws, which we do not cover.
We don't cover them. The majority of the safety laws are the same, but things that are unique or specific would be very different. And we're in Ontario, and I, as a police officer in Ontario, really can only speak to the Ontario laws. There are channels here on TikTok that are in Alberta. Are they not? Did I make that up?
We safe communities, remember?
Yes, but I think they're in Alberta as opposed to, they're not in BC, are they? They're in Alberta, okay.
They are in Alberta.
And then we have the Edmonton police as well. There you go. Okay. Bikes on sidewalk is a duplicate of a previous. Oh, we got multiples of this one. Let me remove that. Why do police change from chain to hinged cuff? I'm not aware of any change. Toronto Police still uses a standard or issues a standard hinged. Maybe they ran out of one and they got another. There's no specific. The hinged cuff, though, is supposed to be more difficult to move around with. Yeah. And that's the idea. It's a control. The handcuffs are a control product or a tool. Does corrections job help in policing? I used to be a special constable in courts, a court officer, and many of my colleagues there had previously worked as jail guards. It certainly helped them get in from there. We have a lot who have become police officers. I don't know if it's a specific assistance, but it certainly wouldn't hurt you. I would assume anything that shows you to be a good member of society, someone who is contributing in a law enforcement capacity would be good. I still consider prison to be very much a law enforcement role, even though it's the other end of it. Can you pass on a solid line if it's safe to do to do so? I imagine. The lines are there to tell you not to. If there's no ticket for violating or breaking that line, but if you were to be involved in a collision after breaking that, you would in fact be responsible for the collision because you were specifically warned not to. Thank you for the gift, Chris. I just saw that pop in. That'll go into the pile for Special Olympics Ontario. Thank you so much. Does military background help application of TPS? We have many former serving members of the Canadian Armed Forces, former military folks who have joined Toronto Police. I would assume that means it's yes. We have a Veterans Association, so much love to those that served. Thank you for your service, for real. Okay. Can someone pass me from the right-hand side? Passing on the right's illegal. It's unsafe. It's an illegal practice. So you can be ticketed for it. Does it happen? Sure, it happens. Maybe you shouldn't be in the left-hand lane. It could be an issue depending on how fast you're going. Now, people pass above. Those that drive doing the speed limit in the left lane are technically not doing something illegal. However, it may not be as safe because there are people who are choosing to break the law that are going to choose to pass you on the right-hand side, which is causing an unsafe situation. So you're better off not hanging out in the left. Hey, it's me. 794 says hi. Hi back. Are the Ontario plate stickers being enforced yet? No, they are not. No enforcement of those yet because they're still considered valid. The Ministry of Transportation has said that they are valid along with driver's licenses until further notice. So we haven't received any update as to when that's going to change. So that doesn't mean you should wait. You should go ahead and renew it. There's no discount. You're not getting any benefits. They're going to charge you all the way back to the beginning of the pandemic, whether you renew it now or later. The difference is if you renew it now, you're going to save yourself a lineup without 300 people. You can do that, or just logging out should do it. That'll work too. So I'm also tech support.
First one or
Second one. All contents. No, it's all good. It's all good.
Is that who I think it is?
That is Sergeant. He says so. Sergeant Kraft. It needs to erase his phone. I am Apple tech support. Everybody's waving at you, Sarge. Okay. So that's the answer on our stickers being enforced yet. So driver's license and stickers not being enforced. However, get ahead of the line. Everybody in Ontario is going to go the same day. As soon as it gets announced, you are going to be miserable waiting in line. I would do it online or in person as quickly as possible. Do that 2 years out, get out of the way, because again, there's no benefit to waiting. Unless you have a health concern and cannot do it online because you need, for instance, an update, then no need to. Sorry, I was going to say, unless you have a reason you can't go in person, and if you can't have to get a photo, that would be the other reason. But you know what? Follow our page if you're not already a follower. Follow our page so you can make sure you're going to get that news when we go and let everybody know when things are going to change and when we're going to start doing the enforcement. Because there will be a day, line in the sand will be announced, and we'll be making sure that everyone who follows us knows when that is. I need to take a drink. I need hydration and caffeine.
Okay. Oh, go first.
If a cop turns his lights on behind you in a left lane, should you pull over to the left shoulder?
So it depends. If you're on a highway, because there's only a left shoulder on a highway, the law says that you pull over to the closest curb. So if you're in the left, the closest curb would be the left. If they want you to do something else, they're going to let you know. But generally speaking, pull over to the closest curb. That would be to meet your obligation under the Highway Traffic Act, and then we'll give you further direction. If we're going to escort you off the highway, we'll do that. If we're going to pass you, we're going to do that. One of the two will happen.
I want to ask about TPS and whether or not you guys are recruiting. And if so, what do you suggest for a recommendation to follow up and prepare to apply?
Okay, so I understand we are actively recruiting, that there is a job posting for the position of police cadet. And if you are interested, now is a good time to apply. So what you should first off do is attend, or at least go to our website, www.torontopolice.on.ca/careers. That's going to give you the portal to all the information. It's going to be where you apply online, all the background information, so you know what to do and what is required of you to prepare and apply. Great resource. There's also going to be contact information for our recruiting or talent acquisition department. They're going to be your recruiters and your source of information that will be the best for what to do next. In terms of my personal suggestion, be in shape. You don't want your physical self to be the reason that you don't get to the next stage. So even if you're not ready to meet the test today, start working out, start getting ready, and continuously get ready until and improve yourself physically until you get hired. You want to be able to do that physical test without sweating and without stressing out over it, because then you can focus on the academic and all the volunteering stuff that you should be doing to make yourself the best candidate possible. Now, if you're very often I get questions about education. Your education doesn't have to be police specific. In fact, if you have education or a specialty or choosing education that is not specific to policing, that could also be a benefit. I always use the example of accounting. If accounting is something you're interested in, but would prefer to be a police officer, well, accounting information or knowledge would be useful to the police, because forensic accounting or forensic investigations is something we do. So if you have specific skills in that area, you'd be a great candidate for something in that as a specialty at some point.
For the G1, can you have passengers if a G driver with 4 or more years of experience is in the front seat?
Okay, so if you're a G1, you're being supervised by a G class with 4 years experience. They're the only people in the front seat that can be in the car, but you can have passengers. There's other restrictions for G2 between 12 and 5 a.m. That's a separate situation, but G1, you can have passengers as long as your front passenger is a G with 4 years experience and nobody else is in the front. Okay. I got a good morning, Shapiro. Good morning. Is jaywalking really a law? Jaywalking's a law some places, but jaywalking is not a law here. There are bylaws of not crossing within 50 or crossing mid-block within 50 meters of a crosswalk or so there are issues where you could be charged for interfering with traffic or for causing a collision or not crossing safely. But jaywalking in particular is not a law here. Hey, there's a link to that career section, www.torontopolice.on.ca/careers.
Following up
Yeah.
on the police application, if they have a criminal record, can they become a police officer?
So depending on the situation, this is I think a fairly new thing, but it used to be that you had to have a pardon, and you may still need to get a pardon. This is really a good question for the folks at the talent acquisition department or talent acquisition unit. That's a better word. They would have more information, but I understand now if you have something minor in your history that's dated, it is possible to still be a police officer, but it would be under their review and their. They would know more. So contact them for sure. Let's see here. Are aftermarket horns legal? Sorry, it glitched. No problem. Aftermarket horns, depending. If it sounds like a siren, that's not a horn, that's a siren. Aftermarket horns should not be a problem. Air horns and whatnot could be safer, but misuse of those could result in a charge of unnecessary noise. Total demerit points before a license is taken away. If you're a fully licensed driver, I believe 15 is when you get your suspension. I think it's a lot lower for a learner. It could be as low as 7 to 10. I don't recall offhand. But I did put that in a video that's posted here on TikTok. So check out our library of over 300 videos, and you will be able to find information just like that. Okay. I need a little bit of water here.
Cool. Can a special constable pull someone over? I see their cars have lights and sirens.
So their cars have lights and sirens, but they're not currently, at least not to the best of my knowledge, cleared to do any HTA enforcement. If they were acting on direction of a police officer, there may be situations where they could, but I don't think that's the case. Right now, it is police officers only, and the special constable cars are specifically there to identify them as such. So the vehicles may have the lights for other purposes, and I don't really have an answer as to what the scope of their duties are. I should look into that. I will look into that. Okay. Are roll cages illegal to have on the street? It depends on the roll cage. If it's something like you have a convertible and it's the hoop that goes over the back of your head to prevent you from being crushed in a rollover, those are legal. If it's a full cage, Miata is a good example of that. If it's a full cage, like a racing cage, those aren't legal. They can only be used when you have a full helmet, tether, and full 6-point harness, which is also not legal for the road. So roll cages that are full, proper roll cages are not intended for road use and could result in brain damage in the event of even a minor collision. So you don't want that, and you don't want the tickets that would come with it. You really from Toronto Police? Maybe. Yes, I am.
It looks like it. I mean,
it looks like I am. And
letters.
Samiaz is just dropping all sorts of diamonds for the Special Olympics Ontario. Thank you so much. Okay. What is this? Can we park with hazards light on at non-stop sign? Depends on where you are. And Chris, thank you also. Chrissy, I should say. Can we park with hazards lights on? So you can't park on a highway. You can't park in a no parking zone. So what kind of parking are you going to do that you require your hazard lights on? If you have an emergency and you pull over and your hazards are there to, notify other motorists that you're there and that you don't want to get hit, that's what it's there for. Hey, Rebecca sent a gift. Thank you so much. Okay.
Someone said you sound like Rick Harrison from Pawn Stars.
Rick Harris, I've never heard that. Yes, I have. Actually, when I first started this account, I got that a lot. And then I started tagging. You should all tag him because Rick Harris doesn't have it, but Chumley has an account. So tag Chumley, because I keep waiting for Chumley to say that I do or don't. If he should have the official word. But yeah, I've heard that a lot, that Rick Harris and I have some similarities, possibly a hairstyle and possibly a sound. And if I say that I'm going to call some friends that know a bit about these things and call a friend to come have a look at it. Ooh, there's glasses. Yeah, I used to have his line down because I was making videos doing my Rick Harris. Is it Harrison or Harris?
I don't know.
Rick
But I'll
Harrison?
look it up.
Okay,
Can we
no, I
talk
think
about texting and driving though?
texting and driving is use. So under the Highway Traffic Act, using your cell phone, using your handheld communication device, entertainment device, communication device, or even being or looking at a visible screen. So if your passenger is using their handheld communication device, shows it to you to say, "Hey, look at this Instagram photo." Those are 3 different charges. So handheld communication device, handheld entertainment device, or looking at a screen of either of those devices. All offenses, they all come with a $615 fine, 3 demerit points, and 3-day suspension on first conviction. It goes up from there. You get more demerit points and more days of suspension as you go. And this is Justine Bearhart, sorry, really tiny print. This is so cool. I think it's awesome. Thank you very much. We think it's awesome too. We're having a lot of fun. We used to go to trade shows. We used to meet people at events and community events, and those events aren't happening the way they used to. So we haven't had the chance to reach out and say hello to so many people, and now we do. Now with the assistance of the TikTok community and the platform altogether, we're chatting with all sorts of people like you all day long, and it's awesome. Do you get ticket for eating and driving? You could get charged with careless driving if that eating led to driving that was dangerous or careless, and that's what the whole careless driving charge is about: is undue care and control, where you're not, it's undue care and attention. So if you're weaving all over the place and you're eating your salad while you're driving, that's going to be an issue, especially if it leads to a collision.
Someone in chat is panicking, spamming, and
Okay.
asking, what are the implications of hitting someone while jaywalking? Don't hit them first?
Well, you're responsible for what you do with your car, regardless if they're doing the right thing or wrong thing. And if the collision was avoidable and you hit them, then that's going to likely be your fault. So the implications are going to be, let's see, we could be charged with careless driving. Careless driving causes bodily harm. Careless driving causes death. Could be dangerous driving which is criminal. It all depends. At the end of the day, don't hit pedestrians. It's bad. And pedestrians, be careful when you're crossing the road, because there are people who could hit you. It's a 2-way street, literally. The deal is that there are safer ways to cross a street for pedestrians, and you need to be looking up and paying attention to what you're doing. This is why texting and driving, speeding, all these things are such an issue, because people are going to be crossing, and they're legally permitted to in most cases. You really need to be careful. And thank you, is Samiaz, with 100 gifts to Special Olympics Ontario. I think this is like your second round of doing that. You might have hit a record, which is very generous of you. Thank you so much. Let's see here. Can you answer phone calls in a red light? Not if you're holding the phone. If you have a Bluetooth, you can. If you have a Bluetooth, you can do it by answering by way of a head press button, a momentary touch of the screen, one of the two. But you can't hold a phone. You can't touch a phone for the purposes of handling it, manipulating the screen. You can't be using it. And using it is even holding it. Even if the battery's dead, the courts have said holding is using. But you've specifically asked about, actually you haven't specifically said if it's mounted. And the situation is, if it's mounted, you can momentarily press hang up or answer. Used to be send and end, which is no longer, no one says that, right? Now it's just answer. And just because it's been a while, my name is Sean Shapiro. I'm a police constable with the Toronto Police Service here in Ontario, Canada. And we go live Monday to Friday talking about stuff and things, primarily stuff and things related to policing and traffic. Okay. Are interior lights illegal to use while driving? No, not illegal to use while you're driving in Ontario. I can't speak to other jurisdictions, but here it's not, even though I grew up thinking it was. 400 diamonds or gifts, or I don't know what they baskets of joy from Samia's. Thank you so much. That's all going to Special Olympics Ontario. Okay. Ashton Stein doesn't want to know anything. He's a moderator, and he says 9 Hannah Avenue is where traffic service is located. That's right. That's our physical location of our traffic unit. We're not really open to the public right now, but if you needed to know where we were, that's where we are. And that's answering that question. What division do you work out of? I work out of traffic services, specifically in the traffic safety programs unit, and we are the citywide traffic unit for the city of Toronto. We go everywhere. Okay. Are you a full-fledged officer? Like, do you patrol? I am a fully fledged police officer. I have a badge. I would generally be out on patrol if I wasn't a traffic safety programs officer working inside of an office doing social media. I don't currently patrol. I'm not assigned to a platoon. I'm assigned to a platoon that sits in an office. But I am a police officer. I am like anybody else on the road, except I'm not on the road right now. Are we allowed to record when we get stopped? Yes, you are, provided you are not driving when you are doing this. But yeah, there's no rule against recording. Now, granted, if a police officer is giving you directions, you need to focus on the directions and not the recording. But if you turned your camera on and put it down, or you were recording until the point that you received directions that would prevent you from doing it, not to say you can't record, but if the officer is asking you to provide a roadside sobriety test, and you have to put your arms out and walk a straight line, you have to do that, not record. So that would be the kind of caveat there.
We have a question coming in from YouTube saying, you mentioned riding a Harley, not specific to Harleys, but is there a limit to how loud your motorcycle or car can be?
Excellent question. That's from D. Hazy? Or is that pronounced any other way than D. Hazy? Hazy?
Dazzy.
Dazzy? Okay. See, I'm not down with whatever. Okay, so Harley Davidson, any motorcycle in the city of Toronto, there's a specific bylaw. It says you can be no louder than 92 decibels while at idle, I believe. 92 or 94. You can look it up. 92? 92 decibels. Oh, yeah, it's 74 at idle for cars, 92 for bicycles, for motorcycles. At idle, there's not a lot that are idling and louder than that, in my opinion. Now, that's for the bylaw. Under the HTA, however, unnecessary noise is unnecessary noise. So if you're loud, regardless of the decibel rating, you can be charged. So that's something to know. And we do we do charge motorcycles and cars, and for stereos, exhaust, horns, anything unnecessary. So here's the thing: you can have a Lamborghini that's a 12-cylinder, machine that sounds great and idles at a beautiful rumble. That is not obnoxious when it's at idle. But if you're getting to red line at 40 kilometers an hour, you're doing something wrong. It's unnecessary, and the driver of a Lamborghini could, even with a stock set of pipes, get a ticket. So there you go. Motorcycle, same thing. If you're sitting there revving and causing unnecessary noise, you don't need to. Now, people say, oh, Harleys are just noisy. No, Harleys stock are not noisy. Harleys with slip-ons that are straight pipes, have no muffler, those are noisy, and those are eligible for a ticket. Whereas even with a stock motor, even though it sounds like a blender, just like a Honda, maybe not just like a Honda, but they would be creating unnecessary noise too. So here we go. Same question. What about very loud music in a car? Same deal. You can get a ticket for that. And is impersonation of a law enforcement officer in Toronto a felony? Well, in Canada, I believe it's indictable. I have not seen someone do this personally. I've not run into an impersonator, but it is an arrestable offense. Okay. And felony is an American term, so it's very different. But yeah, we have it. It would be an issue. It would be a severe issue. Expect problems if you do that. Let's see here. I got a ticket, 89 and a 60. Can I be police? Can I be a police?
Maybe they want to know if they got the ticket, can they still apply to become a police officer?
Oh, thank you for translating that for me. Yes, you getting a ticket, it does not mean you would be precluded from applying to the police. A driving record is serious. It's funny, I had this conversation on Friday with a staff sergeant from employment, as a matter of fact, and driving records are incredibly important. If you are going to be enforcing the rules, following the rules prior to becoming a police officer is a pretty good indication that you respect the law. That being said, things happen, and if you correct your behavior and change that so you don't have a history or what's the word I'm looking for? A pattern of behavior. If it's a one-off thing, I wouldn't worry about it. If you got 6 of those over the last 6 months, that's a problem. But you know what? Talk to your recruiter. If you're going to be applying, talk to the recruiter, and they may have the same take as me, may have a different take, but you'll know more when you talk to them, because I am not in the recruiting department. Are you allowed to have lights on your tires? If they blink, it's a problem. If they're perceived to be blinking based on movement, it's a problem. Depending on the color, it's a problem. And just as a purely mechanical or advice thing, those tend to be of cheap metal. And when you put them onto the valve stem, which is differently cheap metal, and if they are not the same type of metal, they will oxidize and fuse there, and then you won't be able to take them off. So when you need to put air in your tires, you're going to have to go to the tire place. They'll have to cut off those valve stems and put on new ones, and it's just a pain. So I would avoid doing that. And 1985 is long and buried, and they would want their tire lights back. Okay, let's see here. Can I report reckless driving that what got cut off that I witnessed? Yes, you can. Two ways you can do it. If you really believe that it's dangerous driving, if it's something that poses an immediate threat to the public, you can call 911, and you can do that while you're driving, because it's one of the exemptions of using your phones. Whether or not you have Bluetooth, if you see an emergency, you can call in. Now back to the whole reporting the driving. If it's something that's an immediate threat to the public, call 911. If it is something that you saw that is no longer a threat to the public, but still think it's worthy of a report, you can go to our website. If you go to www.torontopolice.on.ca/core, that's CORE, it's the Citizen Online Report Entry. I think that's what I said. Citizen Online Report Entry. And there you can report a myriad of different things, one of which is a driving complaint of a specific driver. Likewise, if you had a specific issue in your neighborhood, you could report a neighborhood complaint. It's a different report that you can put on there. If an officer ends up in an accident, what happens? Well, we don't call them accidents. They're collisions because somebody's responsible. It didn't just happen by accident. So what happens? It gets investigated. And additionally, a sergeant has to review it, because very often what it means is disciplinary action if it turns out to be the fault of the officer. So it's taken quite seriously. It is investigated thoroughly. Okay. Can you get a ticket for driving barefoot? No, you cannot. In Ontario, it is not against the law to drive barefoot, although it's not suggested. We have lots of people asking about underglow. Underglow. I think that was Brandon banging around there. Or maybe somebody else, but somebody's banging cabinets. Okay. Oh, it was Sarge. He's banging cabinets. Sorry. It's okay. They're asking who's cabinet banging. Okay, so we got more underglow. I'm gonna click on all these underglow, and then I'm gonna answer the underglow. So the answer to underglow. Here's another underglow. Boy, this is a popular topic today. The deal with underglow is this: that specifically, or there is no specific charge for underglow. If you have it, it doesn't mean that it's specifically illegal. However, its use might be. Talked about it briefly earlier in the show. You have there are restricted colors, so you cannot have anything other than white or amber to the front. You cannot have anything other than red and amber to the rear. So if you have a light that is any other, if you have any other light in that direction, you violated those rules. So you might get charged for that, even though it's not specific to the underglow. If you have intermittent flashes of light, if you have red, blue, green, those are all prohibited colors, and intermittent flashes of red light, including brake lights, is an offense. So there's all sorts of things, and what my suggestion would be is not to use underglow, at least not on the road. Private property only. Okay, what's a special constable? Special constable is a civilian with expanded powers. I was a special constable. I was a court officer, which had we had police or limited police powers while we were at work. When we went home, we were just citizens. And when you came to work, you signed in, you had expanded powers again. It depends on the job they're doing, and those powers can be molded for the job that they're doing. So some may direct traffic, others may have sensitive information that they're exposed to. Depends on the job. Okay. Can you tint your headlight and taillight? Headlights and taillights can be tinted to some degree legally, and that is as long as they don't exceed or prevent your headlights or taillights from being discernible, and that's the word from the HTA, at 150 meters. So if they can't be easily seen at 150 meters, they would be deemed improper. Now, do we go to 150 meters and test it? Probably not. What we're going to see is something too dark. You're going to get charged, and then you're going to go have to defend yourself. Is it worth it? excuse me, for you to have this. I would say that tinting either of those safety devices is not a good idea. Why? Because if you can't see, you might get into a collision, and B, if you can't be seen, you might be in a collision. Thus, it's a silly modification. May look cool. In fact, I think some of the times it looks really cool when you black out a car, but I would suggest strongly against it. Let's see here. Can you get a ticket for not moving for a law enforcement officer's car? So if if lights and sirens are active and you fail to pull over as directed, or move out of the way for an emergency vehicle, not just law enforcement, it's like a $400 or $500 ticket. I don't recall the exact number right now, but yeah, you would get charged, and rightfully so. Those people are trying to either stop you because you've done something, or get you out of the way so they can go save somebody else. So moving out of the way is a great thing to do. Good morning from New Brunswick. Good morning, New Brunswick. Hope all is well. It's nice to have places outside of the GTA coming in to say hello. We have Australia and Germany sometimes visiting us. We have Alabama, he's not an undercover cop as his account, but I want to say he's not a traffic cop either, so it's accurate. And he's in Alabama. He watches.
What do you suggest for somebody who cannot get factory exhaust or muffler again or anymore? Like, it's not available.
So you've got a vehicle that is no longer in production. You can't find a factory OEM exhaust system to replace their original. There's lots of aftermarket, but if, let's say, they can't find one that was even intended for their vehicle, as long as it meets the requirements under the HTA, which I'm told are 74 decibels, then you should be fine. There's nothing that says you have to buy a Honda one or even an aftermarket one that matches your vehicle, as long as you can make it fit. Okay. And the Safe Driver, who you should totally be following if you haven't already followed them, is an amazing, magical man from Happy Land, and he's a driving instructor. He's a driving instructor who teaches driving instructors to be driving instructors. So he has great amounts of knowledge. You may have seen him in a recent video that I posted to our channel last night, very specifically. In any case, yes, I might have answered a tint question recently. Would you like me to go over it again? Yeah, I'll go over it again. 0 to the front, anything you want in the back, but the windows directly left and right of the driver, no more than 30%. Light blockage, which means 70% has to go through. Oh, we got flashing screens again. And a brow. Yes, I got the brow dance going on here. If your vehicle is 2016 or older, you can have a 3-inch brow, or it reached the PS1 line, whichever happens first. And if it's 2017, you may not have said brow. Okay.
For LED light bars, can
Yes.
they be placed below factory headlights?
LED light bars are for off-road use only, so where you place them is fairly irrelevant as long as you're not using them when you're driving. Wherever you mount them, as long as they don't cause an issue interfering with your bumper, because I can see that being an issue, but ultimately you can't use them on the road. They're not for road use. Does that work for you? Get a shrug. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, you, as long as they're not interfering, with the projection. Like if you were to put them in front of the headlights so that they no longer worked properly, that would be a problem.
Please be respectful in chat because you will get blocked.
I see that somebody's being disrespectful. I don't know what it is because I'm not reading the chat, but yes, please be respectful. This is a safe space. We have folks on this app that start at the age of 13, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, don't say stuff that you wouldn't say in front of a 13-year-old, please. Just, we're trying to keep it classy in here. We're here to answer your questions and have some fun. Ceramic tint, ? I don't know. Ceramic tint, if ceramic tint is mirrored tint, you can't have that because you can't have any mirrored coating. That's not allowed. But I don't know more about, I need to know more about ceramic tint before I could say yes, no, or otherwise.
We have a follow-up to the passing on the right question. On a multi-lane highway, if someone in a left lane is going slower than the speed limit, can you pass them on the right lane in that case?
Sorry, say this one more time.
So on a 4-lane highway,
Yeah.
if someone in a left lane is driving slower, can you pass them in one of the right lanes?
So here's the funny thing about passing. What is passing? I've interpreted it differently than others have. If you are changing lanes to get past them and then changing lanes again, to me that's passing. You're going out of a lane to pass someone and get into a lane. If you simply change lanes and continue at a speed above that of the driver in lane 1, I don't believe that's passing. You're just changing lanes and going faster. My interpretation may not be that of the officer that is stopping you, but it's the passing requires you to complete a movement, not just change lanes. So my suggestion would be change lanes and go faster than them. As long as you're faster does not include going above the speed limit, because you're not allowed to exceed the speed limit even when passing. I think that covers it. Just more information on the ceramic. Thank you, Q, by the way, for throwing this up on screen. Ceramic window tint can help you stay safe on the road by reducing sun glare. Your tint will only let 50% of the light enter your car, which makes it a lot easier. So apparently, it could potentially be illegal because it's not as tinty. Is that what I'm getting? Oh, it's not. Okay, that was a quote from the web. So you can't use it on the windshield. We've talked about, but yeah. Sorry, I'm literally reading something. I'm not giving you an opinion. I'm reading something.
So normally people in the States have been using it on their windshield, and it's definitely frowned upon here in Toronto.
In Ontario.
Yeah, in Ontario.
Yes, so what is the idea? The idea is that it's less tinty but does more UV blocking?
Yeah, UV blocking.
Okay. There are clear tints that are absolutely clear that are UV blocking. In fact, most windshields already have UV blocking properties. So, interesting stuff. I'm going to have to read more. Maybe we'll do a road trip to a tint place and get some learning on.
Field trip.
Field trip would be a good thing. We need field trips. Everyone needs field trips. Can you drive a vehicle without doors, i.e. a Jeep? Well, you can drive a Jeep without doors. They are removable. And the new Bronco, I think, has removable doors. And that's a thing. When I look for another question, in the meantime, everyone is in the room. If you're not already following, please follow us. It helps us out. It helps us make sure you get information in a timely fashion when we post it. It also notifies you when we go live, which happens to be Monday to Friday, currently 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. We have to revisit, what's the best time to go live? What do you think?
Start a poll.
Can we touch on when an officer might act while they're off duty?
Anytime. A police officer is a police officer at any time, could be called upon to act as a police officer, because we're 24/7. We're not citizens. We're not civilians anymore. Until we hand in that badge and retire or quit, we are police officers 24/7, and actually required by law to act in many we're citizens. We're just not civilians. Yeah. Q likes calling me out on my use of certain words. I got from citizen to civilian anyway. So the deal is that we're obligated to act, and that might be getting actually physically involved. It may be being a great witness and calling 911 and conveying information. It really depends, but a police officer can always act because they are always a police officer. Okay, so it's that time. It's 10 o'clock. It's actually 2 minutes after 10, and we got to wrap this up. We got to. Now, there's a bunch of questions, and I appreciate I did not get to all of them. So my apologies. I'm going to take one question because I see it as an answer worth answering. They're all worth answering, but one that I can do very, very quickly. 160 and a 110 is stunt driving. Anything over 150 is stunt. 150 and above is stunt driving, regardless of what the speed limit is. If the speed limit was 140, 150 would still be stunt driving because that's the way the law is written. Now, there is no 140 speed limit, but if it was to exist, 150 would be stunt driving. So, yeah, hope that answers the question. Now, I'm cutting it off. I'm going to say good day. There's a Discord server link. If you'd like to join us there, the conversation continues throughout the day. Q, anything to add? Anything I missed?
Yeah, if you guys have questions that are remaining, please pop it into the QA on the TikTok side. If not, and you need an immediate quote answer to your questions, hop into the Discord. Follow VoiceOver Cop on Twitter because there's an active link to the Discord that's there.
Yeah.
Traffic services for the latest updates on VZ, etc. Just drop us a follow across the platform so you get to stay up to date on the newest information possible.
Yeah, because you might have a question that you need an answer to right now, and that, in a somewhat timely fashion, we get to everything on there. And there's a lot of folks in the community on Discord that have answers because they've been around, and they will happily share that information with you. So that's a thing. It's about community. It's all about community. So, friends, it's been a blast. See you tomorrow, 9 a.m., when we'll be back again. And I'm going to go create some TikToks and post them. That's what I'm going to do.
Bye,
Have
TikTok.
a wonderful day.
Bye, TikTok.
Bye, YouTube.
Oh yeah,
Twitch.
Bye,
I
everybody.
don't know I don't know how to wave at first. There's too many cameras. Okay. All the best, everyone.
We're
Okay.
good. There's so many waves.
So many waves.
So many
Okay.
waves.
All of the
So
waves.
that one, that's
Nice.
an interesting one. Okay.
Did
Now,
you see? I
we
need
are
stats.
we are
Oh,
still
was it
live on the YouTube. So for anyone who's behind the scenes with us, you're still here. How's it going? So we're gonna do a
Your
recap.
wife didn't pop in today.
No, you know what? The kid, she might be having a good day, and the kids might be keeping her crazy, and who knows. Let's see. We had 7,213 viewers there, 105 new followers. Let's see what the stats say. Top in the room was 703 viewers. That is a new record.
How?
703.
I popped in at 722 at one point in time.
722 is the highest?
Yeah, that's what I
Come
saw
on.
that.
online. See?
Oh, weird. 720. Okay. I don't know. I can't explain. It says 703. I'll take it, though. 703 is...
Yes, we hit a record.
I think so. And with that, now that we've done
Sorry.
the dance, I'm gonna hit end stream on the YouTube.
We stopped. Oh my goodness.
All right, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow. It's Tuesday. We have Teens Learn to Drive tomorrow at 10:15. We're going to talk to Anne Marie, and she's going to talk about the year of Teens Learn to Drive. What happened last year? So 10:15. So we'll do the behind the scenes at 9, and then we'll do the regular show at 10:15. So we'll have everything. And Dazzy says, I just want to say
Daniel.
what you...
Daniel.
It's Daniel? Oh,
Yes,
Daniel.
I
I'm
said it
sorry.
in chat.
Oh, there you go. I see
Daniel.
it now.
Dazzy
Daniel
wants to
says,
be
I just
addressed
want to
like
say
Daniel.
that you do what you do on TikTok and YouTube Live is amazing. Keep it up. Thank you very much. It's we are we're having fun. We're having fun, and we're helping to inform people of stuff and things, and it's awesome. We're glad you're here. We're glad you appreciate it. Thanks very much. And with that, I'm going to hit the end. We're ending it right now.
Bye.
Bye-bye. I can hear your hands clapping.